Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be some ramblings about the grease spell and why you should allow players to set it on fire, unlike the rules say. I'm basing this off of a flask of oil. A flask of oil costs 1 silver. It's a pint of oil that'll cover a 5-foot square if you dump it out. You can also turn it into a Molotov cocktail. If you take the time to do so, you have a 50% chance when it hits that it'll catch fire. If you set the square on fire that you dump the oil into, it does a D3 fire damage and will be on fire for 2 rounds. The grease spell. It's a standard action to cast. It's a level 1 spell. And it'll last 1 minute per level. So if you want to penalize this, I'd say maybe you'd forfeit the duration of the grease. If it's lit on fire, turn it into 1 round per level. But a grease spell covers a solid surface with a layer of slippery grease. Any creature in the area when the spell is cast must succeed a reflex save or fall, which I would rule the same with a flask of oil. You pour a flask of oil on a square, that square's slippery, even if it's not on fire. And if it's on fire, it's slippery and burning. A creature walk through the area of grease at half normal speed with a DC of 10 acrobatics check. That seems a little low. I'd probably make the acrobatics check for the spell equal to the save DC of the spell for able to move through at half speed. If you fell by 5 or more on the skill check, you got to make if you fell by 5 or more on the skill check, you fall. If you don't move the turn that you're in the square of the grease, you don't have a chance to fall. I'd say that would work as long as you're not physically fighting. If you're physically fighting, you're adjusting your footing all the time, so you're changing how your footing is in that 5-foot square. You can use the spell to code an item. If a creature tries to use that item, they get a reflex saving throw. If they're currently using that item, they get a reflex saving throw. So if you wanted to grease the handle of somebody's sword, they get a reflex save. A creature wearing greased armor or clothing gains +10 on escape arts check, so it's great in that effect. But everywhere I've seen, grease spells since 3rd edition cannot be set on fire. So in my game, I say you can set it on fire. It'll do the same damage as burning oil, because it's a level 1 spell. Why shouldn't it be less effective than a 1 silver piece item? And I would rule that it lasts 1 round per level at the point you set it on fire. So until then, the grease sitting there would last 1 minute per level. And it'd just do a D3 damage. So the reflex save for, say, a slippery surface coated in oil, I would have to say is like 15 to 20, and I'd probably rule it's closer to 20, because have you ever tried walking on a surface soaked in oil? It's not fun. Well, do you all agree that grease spells should not be able to be set on fire? Do you use any rules similar to this? Do you set them on fire? Do you agree that a 1 silver piece item should be more effective than a 1st level spell? I'm curious on your all's thoughts.